What if a routine flight you boarded met with an unexpected and tragic end? Imagine the Malaysia Airlines Flight MH17. In July 2014, this flight was traversing the skies over eastern Ukraine when it was suddenly shot down. All 298 passengers on board lost their lives, and a Russian-made missile was identified as the cause. No corner of the globe was left untouched as the passenger list spanned multiple nationalities. A routine flight turned into a global tragedy, sparking a complex international investigation. How does the world react when an international flight gets shot down? That's a question that demanded answers in the aftermath of the MH17 disaster. The world watched closely as initial investigations began. The grim task of piecing together what happened fell on the shoulders of several countries, with the Netherlands, Australia, and Malaysia taking the lead. The wreckage, strewn across the fields of eastern Ukraine, provided the first clues. Evidence pointed to a missile strike, a tragedy not of accident, but of intentional act. As the investigation deepened, it became clear that this was no ordinary incident. It was an act of aggression, a violation of international air law. Meanwhile, the nations grieved. The Netherlands mourned the loss of 196 of its citizens, while Australia grappled with the death of 38. Malaysia, too, counted its losses, along with the United Kingdom, Belgium, and others. Each life lost, a story cut short, a family left in mourning. As the investigations progressed, one country found itself increasingly in the spotlight: Russia. The missile, it was determined, was Russian-made. But Moscow was quick to deny any involvement. They rejected the accusations, dismissing them as unfounded and politically motivated. Yet, the world continued to watch, to question, and to seek justice. Despite Russia's persistent denials, the trail of evidence was leading back to them. What role does the United Nations play in holding nations accountable for such incidents, you may ask? The answer lies in the tireless efforts of organizations like the United Nations Council of the International Civil Aviation Organization, or ICAO. This body plays a crucial part in maintaining international air law, a set of rules that nations are expected to adhere to for the safety and integrity of global aviation. In this case, ICAO found itself at the center of a quest for justice. The Council took on the task of determining whether Russia had failed to uphold its obligations under international air law. This process was no small feat. It required careful examination of the evidence, thoughtful deliberation, and a commitment to upholding the principles of justice and accountability. The Council's verdict? Russia had indeed failed to uphold its obligations. Specifically, the law requires states to refrain from resorting to the use of weapons against civil aircraft in flight. In the case of Flight MH17, the Council found that this law had been tragically violated. The missile that brought down the plane was proven to be Russian-made, a fact that further implicated the nation in the disaster. But the Council's decision was more than just a verdict. It was a statement to the world that actions have consequences, and that no nation, no matter how powerful, is above the law. It was a call to Russia to take responsibility for its actions and make reparations to the victims and their families. The UN's decision marked a significant step toward justice, but the fight was far from over. The Council's ruling carried moral weight, setting a precedent for future disputes, and giving a voice to those who had been silenced. Yet, it also served as a sobering reminder of the long road that still lay ahead in the pursuit of justice and accountability. What happens when a country refuses to accept responsibility for its actions? This question lingers in the aftermath of the UN's decision on the MH17 incident. Despite the ruling, Russia maintains its denial of involvement, refusing to accept responsibility or pay reparations for the downing of Malaysia Airlines Flight MH17. In the face of such defiance, the nations affected by this tragedy, led by the Netherlands and Australia, persist in their pursuit of justice. They continue to press Russia to acknowledge its actions and compensate for the loss of innocent lives. The refusal to do so deepens the wounds inflicted by the incident, prolonging the suffering of those left behind. The struggle for justice, however, is not just about holding Russia accountable. It's about standing up for the principles of international law. It's about asserting that no country has the right to violate these principles with impunity. It's about affirming that every life matters and that every loss of life in such a tragic event deserves justice. The aftermath of the MH17 incident and the continuing struggle for justice underscore the significance of collective action. Countries around the world must unite, not only to condemn the actions that led to this tragedy, but also to prevent such incidents from happening in the future. As the conflict in Ukraine rages on, the international community is reminded of the human cost of these conflicts. The quest for justice for the victims of MH17 is a testament to the resilience of the human spirit and the enduring belief in the power of truth and justice. The struggle for justice continues, a stark reminder of the human cost of international conflicts. Thank you for watching Topics on Trend. Go ahead and check out another trending video on our channel here, like subscribe, comment, and share.